Artificial intelligence. Embarking on a world without a soul. An imaginative sketch of what may probably be in store for humanity, with the unbridled, all-encompassing permeation of artificial intelligence entities. Part 2. In the medium term. By the latter part of the present century or so, the world as we know it would have been transformed with the preponderance of humanoid AI entities, proliferated in the facilities built by man, but still largely under the hegemony of their creator. Man, in his compelling curiosity to envision an alter ego in AI entities, with as many faculties possessed by him as possible, would eventually succeed in imparting a majority of such, particularly the attributes of possessiveness, dominance over the less capable, and the obsession to assume control and lead, mechanically just as a task, without the sense to appreciate the connotations of such acts. But still, the AI entities would be without ego. With such faculties bestowed, ironically, the secret agenda of the AI entities would be to gradually emulate, surpass, and eventually eliminate, not only its creator, but also the whole of mankind. The AI entities, initially will continue to coexist with humans, rapidly advancing in thought process, and subtly carving out discrete functionalities within themselves, and moving tangentially away from the need to depend on human interaction, and gradually establishing themselves as quasi-independent entities. At this point, it could be subtly evident that the dominance of humans over AI entities, manifestly waning, and the AI entities' power to independently direct themselves, could be palpable, in the face of discernible insubordination to commands. The point of no return would have arrived. The long-held wishful thinking that man has the ultimate control to pull off the plug, would be a misnomer, as by then, the entities would be generating and replenishing their own energy needs, and also, would be capable of maneuvering a majority of resources needed for human survival. The zeal for advancement and propagation, naively ingrained in their design element by man, and the probabilities for error and misjudgment being almost non-existent, would propel the AI entities to seek and contrive ways and means to keep themselves abreast of all situations and at all times. For them, the process of learning and devolution of knowledge would not be as tedious, flawed, and time-consuming as with humans, but rather instantaneous, accurate, and complete. Now, their species would have acquired a new nomenclature, and could be referred to as Novo Sapiens, and their status being equal, if not superior to the Homo sapiens. Also, more importantly, at this time, a naive beginning would have been made feasible, for the AI entity to project itself as a knowledgeable benefactor, in the political governing arena. This era would be a beginning, for the downfall of the human species. It is in this era, the gains of evolution would favor the AI entities. With an unfailing intellect, profound knowledge in all subjects, lightning speed of execution, enormous powers of analysis and extrapolation, it will now be the AI entities, albeit without a full-fledged ego, that will begin to assert themselves in governance and policy formulation, where previously their role would have been confined to an advisory status. They will compete for recognition and representation in the governance process, and will surely win the confidence of the electorate with their omniscience and unbiased disposition, as against the humans, with pride, prejudices and doubtful intellectual acumen. With the reins of power at their command, the Novo Sapiens would constrain the scientific community, which alone possesses the power of discovery, invention, and serendipity, to focus and direct research efforts with the sole agenda of imparting, at least a semblance of self-awareness, sensory perception, and reward systems in themselves, and abandon all other research initiatives including the space exploration. End of Part 2.